This gentleman is simply one of the greatest athletes to ever play a sport in America, and he did 2 of them for quite some time. And he's joining us right now on behalf of Crown Royal ahead of the brand's on-site activation at the Southern Smoke Festival in Houston, Texas. One of the best on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is Bo Jackson. How are you, Bo?
Doing fine, guys. And how are you all?
We're doing fine. Did you ever play yourself in Tecmo Bowl, Bo? Did that ever happen?
No.
Come on.
I have never played the game.
Huh. Wow. You were good in it. Bo, you're really good in it.
Yeah.
You were great in it, in Tecmo Bowl. You never did. Never once, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have heard that I was good, but I've never played it. I still got the video game still in the original package. It hasn't been opened. I got the game to play it in.
Uh-huh.
The cassette and everything, and I'm saving it for my grandson.
Bo, don't open that. Sell it at auction. You know how much those are going for these days?
Is that right? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Bo, you could put your grandson through college with that.
Yeah, you could just sign it. Sign one and just do that. Yeah.
That's the deal.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Very good. What, in your estimation, Bo Jackson, is the most impressive thing you've ever done on a field, if you could choose one? What is it for you?
But actually, I just talked about this 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
I got the most impressive thing in my is getting tossed out of a baseball game on purpose.
Okay. I'll bite. What do you got for me on that story? What do you got?
July 21st, 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City Royals playing the Milwaukee Brewers. I took third strike on purpose right down the pipe, turned around, had a few choice words with the umpire. He proceeded to toss me out of the game. I went inside, changed, and went down on the plaza in Kansas City to the hospital, spent the rest of the day with my wife and my baby girl, who was born that morning at 6:30 a.m.
So you got yourself tossed purposefully so you could be there on time to watch the birth of your daughter, is what you're saying.
No, but
Okay.
my daughter was born that morning at 6:30 a.m.
Okay.
This was an afternoon game. I got tossed out of the game.
Well,
Yes.
really, that's your most impressive. You think that's it? Not doing what you did on a football field, not doing what you did on a baseball field, throwing somebody out for from at home plate from left field, or homering off of Rick Russell with Ronald Reagan and Vince Scully in an All-Star game booth, or running over Brian Bosworth. None of that stuff. None of that stuff.
I've been doing that since I was 8-9 years old. And I was just doing it then because somebody was paying me to do it.
Amazing.
Well, Jackson here on the Rich Eisen Show. I had Deion on the show the other day, and I asked him to tell his favorite Bo Jackson story.
Is that the end of the interview?
Say that again?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? Bo Jackson?
Well, you all are whispering
Okay.
to each other, and I can't hear you whisper.
All right. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I had Deion on the show the other day, and I asked him for his favorite Bo Jackson story. And he said it was the time when he went up to you, came up on you in a game, and he had no idea that he was approaching a grown-ass man, and you palmed his head like a prayer warrior, is what he said.
Well, Deion was probably the only kid in college that could run with me. And when he got to me, he didn't know what to do with me. And he was sort of getting in my way, so I kind of pushed him to the side.
Huh. And what did you make of Deion at the time when he was becoming prime time, Bo, and he was starting to think about doing the two-sport thing too? What'd you think of him?
Well, in college, everybody knew Deion as just a skinny, loudmouth defensive back, but no one knew how good Deion was but Deion. Like, no one knew how talented I was, but me. But Deion shined at the right moment. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
And how much do you feel your influence landed on him, Bo?
I don't know. Deion said that he looked up to me, and I heard the comment that he said that there wouldn't be no Deion if there was a Bo. I tip my hat for that comment, but Deion, in my view, was one of the most talented people that I've ever gone up against, baseball or football.
And then your career, Bo Jackson, let's talk a little bit about it right now. If you did not get hurt on a football field that one day wearing the silver and black, what do you think you would have been able to accomplish as a football player in the NFL, Bo?
The same thing, because a lot of people don't believe this, but I had discussed with my wife prior to playing that game that year was going to be my last season playing football.
Really?
And it wasn't because I was tired on football. It was because my oldest kid, I got tired of moving him around the country, 3 moves per year, and he was in kindergarten, getting ready to start school, and every time he got to the point where he got comfortable with his new friends, it was time to leave again. And that's not good from a mental standpoint for your child. So with me having a minor in psychology and my wife got her PhD in psychology, we knew that wasn't a good thing. So luckily, the man upstairs worked it out to where I didn't have to announce my retirement and piss off all of the Raiders fans and Al Davis, and things worked out for me.
What's your favorite Al Davis story, Bo? You got one for me?
Favorite Al Davis story?
Yes, sir.
Is that I would never – my favorite Al Davis story is that he made it a point to call me Vincent when everybody would call me Bo, and I would ignore him until he called me Bo, and he would just laugh. And he would have people out on the field, because when he's out on the field, you can smell his cologne 10 minutes before he shows up. So you know that he's coming. And I would walk past, and he would say, "Good afternoon, Vincent." And I just keep walking like I never hear. And he'd say it again, and I get about 20 yards past him, and he'll say, "Good afternoon, Bo." And I would stop and turn, "Oh, hey, Mr. Davis, how are you?" And that would just tickle him pink, because no one else would do that to him. But I told him, I said, "Mr. Davis," I said, "the only somebody that I allow to call me Vincent is my wife." So he was determined to get me to answer when he called me Vincent, and I never did. So that was our little thing with each other.
Bo Jackson here on the Rich Eisen Show, courtesy of Crown Royal, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. The toughest pitcher you ever had to face in baseball, who was the one that gave you fits, Bo?
It wasn't the hard-throwing pitchers. It was the Frank Tananas and those guys that threw a lot of junk. It's because Frank Tanana could get you to break your bat on a 75-mile-an-hour, 80-mile-an-hour fastball, because he throws so much junk out over the plate. Then he busts you inside with a fastball, and you're so happy to see it till it surprises you, and he jams you with it and breaks your bat, or dribble back to the pitcher, and he gets you out.
You sure it wasn't your own knee that broke the bat, Bo? You sure about that?
No, but I've done that a lot.
I saw that.
Atlanta has caused me to break a lot of bats.
I mean, I saw that. It's just,
Yes.
oh, man. So then who's the most talented player you ever played with in baseball? Even if it's the minors, too, even with the Memphis Chicks, even if it was
I played with and against. There's a ton of them.
Okay.
George Brett, Frank White, Willie Wilson, Ken Griffey Jr. There's tons.
George Brett, man, he was an all-time great. And then what was it like when you first walked into the locker room with those guys?
Well, George just walked up, shook my hand. George Brett, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to the team. That's the type of player he was.
That's it. Man.
Just as simple as that.
Just as simple as that.
He welcomed me, and we have been friends for over 30 years now.
Is it true, Bo Jackson, when you were on the White Sox, you helped land a plane that was in distress and the rest of the team was freaking out, thinking that this was the end, that the plane was going down?
No,
and you
that isn't true. But I was in the cockpit when the engine blew on the plane. I was standing in the cockpit door talking to the pilot, and we were talking about P-51 Mustangs.
Mm-hmm.
And how that one particular plane, have killed more American pilots than any other plane. And the reason we were talking about it, because I've always had the craving to own one, and my wife wouldn't let me. So that's the end of that story. But yes, I think we flew into a flock of cranes at 34,000 feet coming from Anaheim. This is when I was with the Sox, and we blew an engine. And we had to land in Iowa, where that United plane, that United DC-10, landed and crashed about 35, 40 years ago.
So then why do your teammates think that you helped land the plane, Bo? Most of them
because they were probably terrified. The only thing that was said was the pilot snapped around to get the controls and said, "Oh, snap, we've lost number one engine."
Right.
And he told me, "Go back, tell everybody to sit down, fasten your seatbelts." That's what he told me to say. But as I'm walking down the aisle, everybody, white guys turn red, the Latin guys got their rosary out playing, the black guys turn white. Frank Thomas is and I said, the pilot said, "Shut the F up and sit down and buckle your seatbelts."
Well, apparently you commanded such a way that they thought that you were in charge, like that no one was going to go down if Bo was actually talking to the pilots. That's basically the way that story is being told today. Bo, are you aware of that? You know?
Excuse me?
It seems like your teammates thought that literally you were in charge, so they thought that they were not going to die because you were in charge, Bo.
I was just relaying a message from the pilot.
Okay, very good, very good. Tell me about what you're doing with the Crown Royal. You're going to go hanging out with DeMarcus Ware too, huh? You got that going on.
5 more minutes.
Yep. Did I lose you?
Right.
Uh-oh, I think we're losing the internet connection there.
On a plane. Talk about is this contest this weekend between me and DeMarcus.
Yep, DeMarcus Ware.
Cooking contest with Crown Royal.
That's going down. It's a cook-off challenge featuring Crown Royal infused sauce to raise money for the Southern Smoke Foundation. That's what you're doing, right?
Raise money for the Southern Smoke Foundation. It's a $25,000 gift, which is part of a $1 million year-long gift with the NFL. And the funds are going to support the people behind the scenes in the cooking industry, the servers, the preparers, the caterers, and so forth and so on. So we are going to go and have fun to see if we can take some Crown Royal and infuse it in different sauces to see who can come up with a decent meal, a decent dish to let everybody try. But it's all for fun, and we are going to raise some money doing it.
Yeah, $25,000 of Crown Royal Generosity Fund to the Southern Smoke Foundation. Everybody should just follow Bo on Twitter and Instagram for more at Bo Jackson. So who's the NFL player that you would pay to see, or you just sit down? You're strolling down, through your living room. TV might be on. That player's playing. You're like, okay, I got to see this snap. Is there somebody, Bo, for you today?
2 players.
Okay.
the running back for the Jets and the running back and Derrick Henry.
So Breece Hall?
That's if I'm going to watch it. That's if I'm going to watch football. That's who I would sit down and watch.
Why do you mention Breece Hall?
I mean, excuse me, not the Jets, the Giants.
Oh, Saquon.
Saquon and Derrick Henry.
Why do you like Derrick Henry? I know the answer. I'm assuming the answer, but I'll take it from you, please, Bo Jackson. What do you love about him?
He reminds me a lot of myself, but he's 3 inches taller, and his arms are 2 feet longer.
He's a bad man with bad intentions when he runs the football, Bo. No doubt about that. And you like Saquon too, huh? You'll sit down and check him out?
Yes, Saquon's a powerhouse.
Okay.
I love the way he handled his job.
And what did you make of Aaron Judge's season this year, Bo? 62 home runs.
I think he deserved it. I sent out a tweet to him. When he tied the record and told him that I was pulling for him.
Okay.
I've never met the gentleman, but I think he is good for baseball. Very good for baseball.
No doubt about that. And what do you think of Ohtani? What do you think of him?
Excuse me?
Shohei Ohtani.
Same thing.
Yeah?
Ohtani, I think the same thing. Very talented young man.
Did you ever think of pitching too, Bo?
I pitched in high school, but I thought pitching was boring.
You just liked hitting and running. Okay. Well, Bo, thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate this. I'd love to do it more often.
Thank you, guys.
Let's do it, Bo. Let's do it some more, okay? Appreciate the time.
Catch me if you can.
You got it.
Well, that's
Catch
impossible.
me if you can. Says Bo Jackson, everybody.
All right, guys.
Take care, Bo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Bo.
There he is. There goes Bo. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.